You've all heard the slogan, "Give the gift of life." In 2010, NBC's Today had a piece on a single mother in LA named Alta Ray with a rare form of leukemia. She needed 93 units of blood from 17 different donors. But she eventually recovered and was able to have a luncheon and meet 11 of those donors, all because she was given the gift. Each of us knows somebody or has had an accident or a surgical procedure where a blood transfusion was needed. Those transfusions came from donations from people like us. I'm a Red Cross blood donor working on my 18th gallon. And I propose to you today that we need to continue to donate blood and get more donors. Today, I will tell you what creates the demand for blood. Then I will tell you what affects the supply of blood. Finally, I will tell you about advances being made to prevent shortages, and then tell you other things that you can do to help. In order to see why we donate blood, first we need to find out why there is the demand. There is no replacement for blood, and blood cannot be artificially made or reproduced. Blood is collected and separated into its component: red cells, plasma, and platelets. The red cells are used in treatment of cancer, blood disorders, anemia, and surgical procedures such as open heart, joint replacement, or fractures. Plasma is the most versatile component, and it's used for trauma, burns, and blood diseases. Platelets help patients with a high risk of bleeding, such as after chemotherapy, bone marrow transplants, liver disease, and other major surgeries. Current figures from the American Red Cross show that 41,000 units are needed daily. According to a story on September 19th for ABC News by Deborah Zabarenko, the demand for blood grows annually by 6%. Now, knowing the factors for the demand for blood, let's look at the supply side and see the challenges we face to meet the demand. Blood and its components are perishable. Platelets have the shortest shelf life of only 5 days. Red cells can be refrigerated up to 42 days, and plasma can be frozen for up to a year. A unit of blood, about a pint, is collected, tested, and separated into its components. Then it can be used for at least 3 life-saving events. For years it was thought that 60% of us were eligible to donate blood. However, the pool of eligible donors is roughly around 37% based on findings in a 2008 University of Minnesota study. The study found that estimates failed to consider such things as high-risk behavior, diseases, medications, and travel to other countries. Certain groups are permanently ineligible to donate blood. This includes intravenous blood drug users, persons testing positive for HIV or hepatitis, gay men, people on certain medications such as blood thinners, and people who have traveled or lived in certain lands. There are also temporary deferrals for specific events for such things as being in jail or prison, having had a blood transfusion or transplant, having had certain diseases such as malaria, or having a tattoo or a piercing. In a 2006 report in the Journal of the American Academy of Dermatology found in a survey of 500 people between the ages of 18 and 50, 24% have reported having had a tattoo, and 14% have a body piercing in an area other than their earlobe. A person must wait 12 months after a tattoo or a piercing to be able to donate blood. Blood is typically in short supply during the summer and holiday seasons, or at times of catastrophic events such as hurricanes, floods, and snowstorms. On January 18th of this year, Fox News in Billerica, Massachusetts, reported on an 8-year-old named Jacqueline Rogers, whose open heart surgery was delayed because of the shortage of available blood due to snowstorms in the Northeast. In the previously mentioned ABC News story, there was a critical shortage of blood this past October, causing elective surgeries in Los Angeles, Atlanta, and Philadelphia to be canceled. Now, we'll look at the ways that the supply and demand gap is being closed, and if you can't give blood, some of the other ways that you can help. It needs to be pointed out that technology and governing policies are working on decreasing the demand and increasing the supply. A September 15th blog by Ed Dolan for the Economonitor says the advances in surgical techniques are making near bloodless surgeries closer to a reality, and that a procedure called glycerization and another method to remove oxygen from the blood might be able to increase the shelf life of blood up to 10 years. And this past Tuesday, December 2nd, Julie Beck reported in a story for the Atlantic Online that later that day, the FDA, which is the agency in charge of making the blood donation rules, would be meeting to discuss changing the deferral policy to allow gay men to donate blood. But these advances are not here today. We need to keep vigilant and continue to donate blood once a year, twice a year, every 56 days if possible. But if you can't donate blood for whatever reason, then try to arrange a blood drive at your place of business, your school, or your church. Donate your time to your local blood donation center. And donate money to your American Red Cross or your local blood bank. Whatever you do, your help is truly needed, and it can go a long way. So in conclusion, today we saw the causes for the demand for blood. We saw what affects the blood supply. We learned some of the changes being made in policy and technology to bridge the gap. And finally, we looked at some of the alternatives we can do to help. It's imperative that we continue to donate blood. There is still the threat of not being able to meet the demand. Therefore, we need to do what we can to help so there is no more delayed surgeries and no more blood shortages. I think we can all agree that it's important to do our part to give the gift of life and keep our blood banks full. Thank you.